Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into an absolutely massive viral phenomenon to uncover why millions of people are completely obsessed with a single, supposedly cursed location, the legendary Bungar Fort. We're going to peel back the layers of this huge cultural fascination and examine the really fascinating facts behind the fiction. Because, we aren't just trading spooky campfire tales here today. We're actually exploring the real roots of a modern myth using clear evidence right from our source material. Just take a second to process this staggering number. Over 19 million views. And that's just on a single investigation into this fort by creator Drew Rathian in one single month. I mean, that volume of human attention is wild, right? It absolutely proves the immense cultural grip of this mystery. We are fundamentally drawn to the unknown, and a mass audience like this shows just how deeply this specific legend resonates with the public. It isn't some tiny niche interest. It is a full-blown viral sensation. So let's jump right into this by asking the exact same question that pulls everyone into the dark, creepy corridors of this ancient fortress. Why does nobody stay inside after sunset? It's the central pillar of the entire Bungaroth phenomenon, and by focusing our attention on this one really specific question, we can begin to unravel all the complex layers of psychology, history, and internet culture that keep this location trending year after year. Moving into Section 1, India's most haunted fort, building the legend. Okay, so the legend of Bungar has built on a very specific foundation of spooky phenomena. We're talking classic stories of ancient curses. Specifically, there's this infamous tale of a dark sorcerer whose dying words supposedly doomed the entire fort to ruin. Then you've got countless reports of strange voices echoing through the empty stone walls, and that chilling, persistent feeling of being watched by something unseen. And these aren't just isolated claims either. They form a consistent narrative that visitors completely expect, and naturally often report experiencing when they actually get there. And let me tell you, these ghost stories fuel an absolute viral economy. It's crazy. On one hand, we have an analytical deep dive by Drew Rathi pulling in 19.3 million views. But on the flip side, a video by creator Crazy XYZ titled "We Put Camera in Bungar Fort at Night" amassed an unbelievable 37 million views. This just goes to show that the appetite for this mystery spans across totally different formats. You have the people seeking the hidden reality, and then you have the people who are simply looking for a thrilling, potentially paranormal encounter caught on tape. Which brings us to Section 2, the Sunset Curfew Mystery, a rule set in stone. So here's the thing, this absolute sunset curfew, that is exactly what transforms Bungar from a mere historical ruin into an active, breathing mystery. There's a strict prohibition against entering or staying past dark, and it's actually enforced by government authorities, specifically the Archaeological Survey of India. And human psychology guarantees that the moment an official sign tells you not to do something, your curiosity just skyrockets. This curfew essentially validates the ghost stories in the minds of the public. I mean, think about it. Why would there be an official government rule against staying past sunset if there wasn't something genuinely terrifying lurking in the shadows? Let's pivot a bit for Section 3, the science of ghosts, a rational investigation. Because rather than just accepting ancient curses at face value, what happens when we apply the science of ghosts? Now, we aren't dismissing what visitors experience, but we are definitely changing how we explain it. We look at the psychology, how simply expecting to feel watched makes your brain hypersensitive to completely normal environmental stimuli. We look at the physical environment, how wind whipping through an abandoned stone fortress can easily mimic strange voices. It's just a fascinating, much more structured way to process the unknown. It really is a stark contrast when you lay it all out. On one side of the coin, we have the thrilling allure of ghost legends, curses, supernatural voices, unseen entities. It's cinematic, it's exciting, it's what gets the clicks. But on the other side, we have the grounding, scientific reality, psychological phenomena, verifiable environmental facts, and the stark truth of human abandonment. The goal for us isn't to just ignore the exciting stories, but to use the scientific reality to truly understand why those stories exist in the first place. And that leads right into our final section, Section 4, the unsettling reality, darker than fiction. There is a brilliant question posed in the investigation that completely flips our expectations entirely. It asks, but what if the real story behind this abandoned fort is even more unsettling than the ghost legends themselves? Man, what a powerful way to reframe this topic. We spend so much time and energy looking for phantoms that we totally overlook the real, tangible tragedy of a once thriving civilization that is now just dust and empty stone. The factual realities of why a massive, fortified settlement was completely abandoned are far more complex than any myth. Think about the severe famines, the wars, or the societal collapse that actually displaced thousands of real human lives here. That historical reality carries such a profound, heavy weight. In a way, the ghostly whispers and tales of dark sorcerers are almost like a coping mechanism. It's a way for us to dress up the quiet, deeply unsettling tragedy of real history in a fun little costume that's much easier for us to consume. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with this final thought to kind of chew on. Are we more afraid of the ghosts we invent or the unsettling historical realities we try to forget? It's a question that certainly applies to Bangard Fort, but also to so many other mysteries we obsess over. The real fascination isn't just in the shadows of the fort, but in the way our own minds actively seek out stories to fill the void of the unknown. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.